Intel has been around for a long time, and they were started in the Silicon Valley. And there's a reason why they called it the Silicon Valley in Northern California. That's because great companies, great semiconductor companies started in that valley. The most notable is Intel. Intel is a great company. Even before the big PC boom, they were one of the original semiconductor companies that was fueling or providing all the key semiconductors in the 70s and the 80s. When we got to the 90s and there was a boom period for PCs, Intel was the market share leader. Everybody wanted Intel inside their PCs. People went from not having personal computers to having one, two, three in a household. And Intel was then installed multiple times in every household in the US and around the world. It became the standard in PCs. Outside of PCs, Intel is in the data center, their servers being installed in many data centers that are on premises as well as in the cloud. Overall, Intel culturally is a really important company to the economy and to the technology industry. The last few years have been really rough for the company. They've had brutal 2023, 2022, 2021. The company historically had been one of the leaders in semiconductors, and they have really been in fifth or 10th place, depending on how you count, in the space for the last 4 years. The leaders, of course, NVIDIA, AMD, Broadcom, have passed Intel as being the most important semiconductor companies now. I'm a value investor, so I'm okay buying into a company that I believe is going to rebound and going to do better going forward. There's a lot of value in Intel. There's a lot of intellectual property. The brand is still really valuable. The intellectual capital at Intel is still really valuable. If they can get their business right, I think it could be a really good investment. They also are trying to build a new foundry here in the United States, and that would be a big plus. One thing that separates Intel from Broadcom is that they produce their own chips for the most part in their own foundries. And that gives them a competitive advantage to onshore produce chips that are going to be needed in the US. Whereas Broadcom depends on other manufacturers, predominantly Taiwan Semiconductor, to manufacture for them. So that would be a big advantage for Intel, but it takes a lot of capital. The company's been putting a lot of capital into their business, and once they get done and they stop putting in that capital, I think it'll really reward the company and hopefully reward investors. The stock went down significantly today. It went down 7%. And I wanted to analyze the company to see if it's a good buy, if it's the right time to enter Intel. I've owned them in the past, but really got out of Intel a number of years ago, just feeling like they just did not have their business in order. But I think right now might be a good time to take a look and see if the value is worth investing in. Let me go over the fundamentals of Intel. First, in one day, it's down over 8%. In the past year, it's up 22%, but year to date, the company is down 18%. Just a really wild ride for investors. As you can see, over the last 5 years, Intel was trading as high as nearly $70 a share, but now it's down to about $40 a share. Now, they have had a rise, especially in 2023, which looks good. Can they continue that trajectory going forward? That's the question. The company has a market cap of 172 billion, just a fraction of where Nvidia is. And FYI, they have more revenue than Nvidia, but they're not growing as fast. They actually had negative growth looking at 2022 versus 2023. You're paying a little over 3 times revenue for one of the best companies in the technology industry. This is a semiconductor company that is really important to the overall technology industry. They have good profitability and their earnings per share is decent. Their forward PE is 29, but I'm expecting that they're going to begin to really beat expectations because they have been investing a lot in their business. They have had trouble as last couple of years, but it's still Intel. They're installed in so many darn PCs, and they are pretty much designed into so many different products and servers and data centers that I think they're going to bounce back. They have multiple analysts review Intel, and most of them have a hold rating. So there's a hold on Intel. Their price target is $43 a share, above where the stock price is currently trading at. There's a broad range of price targets that analysts are putting out there for Intel, from $17 a share to $66 a share. The high being 66, and some analysts expect Intel is going to continue to go up in trajectory on their stock price. And you have some analysts right around 43, that's the average, and then some analysts are very pessimistic on the Intel business, and they're really low. A number of analysts cover Intel. You have 20 that are holding this or have a hold rating on the stock, 3 strong buy, 2 buy, and then you have 2 and 2 as a sell, and then a strong sell. Looking at their forecast, their business is expected to grow and grow quite a bit. In 2023, their revenue was $54 billion. It's expected to grow in 24 to about 58, then 65, 71 in 2026, and then 81 in 2027. If they are able to achieve that kind of growth, this stock's really going to go up. And especially since it's expected that their earnings per share is really going to grow. In the current year, it's expected to be $1.37 a share. That's going to grow all the way up to $4.82 a share in 2027. So if they execute on their business well, this stock is going to go up, double, triple in value over the next 3-4 years. I valued Intel using the cash flows I expect from the company and also their earnings per share. And I arrived at a blended discount of 19% available on Intel. That's after the price correction that we saw in the market. That's a pretty good discount on what I consider to be a great company. And I know they've had a couple of rough years, but this is a great company. And with the growth projections on the revenue and earnings per share that are possible, I think this is a really nice discount to consider in buying into Intel. Should I buy, hold, or sell Intel? Well, I made my decision today to buy Intel, and I bought $1,000 of shares. And here's why. I look at 3 main areas when I evaluate a company. First area is the company. Do I want to be a part owner? Do I believe in their management team? Do I believe in their business plan? The answer is yes. Second is the balance sheet. Is the balance sheet in good health? Yes. Intel has a strong balance sheet. Their net cash is less than 3 times EBITDA, which is a good balance sheet. Overall, they have a lot of cash on their balance sheet and not too much debt. And third, am I getting a discount? I am getting a discount on a very good company. And if the company really executes on their business plan and the forecast that's expected is met, this stock's really going to go up because the valuation is really going to change to the positive. I will build a position on Intel if the news continues to be productive and encouraging and positive. So that's my video on Intel. It's historically a great company, and I like to root for some of the important companies that have come and really established complete industries and really helped the US economy. Intel is definitely one of those companies. And I am rooting for them to pull off this comeback and become a vital company again for many, many industries that depend on semiconductors. I hope you enjoyed my video, found it interesting, and I really appreciate you watching.